And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, always a busy week of shows coming up. Tomorrow, good friend Rhonda Ray is going to drop by. We'll do a little Texas rock and roll feel tomorrow, too. And of course, some shows on Friday of this week, too, with some new stuff out. Always new music Friday, too, here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys, podcast.com. And of course, you can check us out at hightidecountry.net, a fabulous internet station out of Oklahoma City, and presented by our friends at Bangtail Whiskey. And of course, out there at Honky Tonk, Texas. Always love to have my guest and featured artist of the day back when she's got something new. As I always say for a lot of my guests, they have a parking spot here on the show. Just call them up and it's a reservation because I'm going to get the details one way or the other. The new single called Feel Like Home with Ryan Langdon's across all the digital platforms. Karli June, back to the show. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, good to have you back. Well, I'm going to dive into deep into the pool. I use that expression a lot too because, like I said, it's I guess summertime / we're going into fall now with seasons change. But I love this tune. It just came out the end of August, I believe, August 31st. So not even a couple of weeks old now, maybe, but still doing real well for you guys. Talk about the collaboration, the lyrics, the writing, and the whole 9 yards. This song is fantastic.
Where do we begin, really? Well, I wrote the song. I wrote the song actually during the pandemic. So we wrote it over Zoom. Gavin, who ended up producing the track, we wrote it over Zoom. I knew I wanted to do a duet. I didn't know who that duet was going to be with. So we wrote the song, and that was kind of the journey of being a hometown girl. That's such a big part of who I am. And just finding somebody that gives you that same feeling of being back in your hometown, of just, this feels so right being back. I think of pulling in the driveway at my parents' farm and just that feeling that gives you, that's the center of the song. And when we recorded it, it was really important for me to find somebody that was their story too. It had to be real for them and, the right voice. And Ryan came up in a meeting between my manager and I loved Ryan's voice. I had met him once before. We'd written once before. Really nice guy, just down home boy, got some things going on with his career too. So we ended up, he recorded a little bit of the song as a voice memo and sent it to me just to see, what it would sound like. And I was like, yes, we got to get him on the song. It was perfect.
It's got a sports connection for me because in there he really sings down by, I think it's down by 5. And he had to throw the touchdown pass. One of the sports analogies in there too that get me fired up. This really has a sports anthem feel to it. And like anybody who, I don't know, you've just thrown it out there, hockey or Canadian Football League or anything, high school, this would actually fit like players running out of a tunnel in a small town. Do y'all get that feeling? Is that kind of the feel y'all were getting when y'all put this together?
Yes, absolutely. I think that totally captures like that hometown. Well, that's one of the lyrics, like the hometown pride. So I think that's we got to get that going. That's awesome. I love that.
It would just be something I know my players, from as a former coach that coach football and baseball, would love running out to a tunnel if they indeed heard this particular tune. You've come a long way in a short amount of time. I know you didn't let the pandemic get in your way. I mean, you guys stayed busy. You mentioned writing songs, and then out comes this fabulous debut EP, Where You Come From, with so many great songs on there. Talk about just the momentum you had to build back up because the pandemic really shut down everything. And really, I know different parts of the country is as beautiful as Canada and the Ontario area, but how you kind of kept your focus on the prize and now things are really starting to pay off for you.
Yeah, I mean, I won't sugarcoat it. It was rough. The pandemic was really, really hard as a musician. I was just kind of like starting to get my footing right before the pandemic happened. And so, yeah, there was a lot of hard days. I won't sugarcoat that, but I have an amazing manager, and she really encouraged me just to lean into it and just to, keep my head up and to keep going. I have an amazing husband, family that, I remember at the beginning, I was having a really hard day, and my husband actually got a bunch of my friends to record like video messages for me of just like how much they believed in me and my music and just to keep going. And so I'm really glad I did, because coming out on the other side of the pandemic, getting a few country music nominations earlier this year, all based on, what we did during the pandemic and writing that album and just seeing how it resonated, and then, getting this song out, and it just keeps growing and keeps growing. And, we're starting to get a little bit more fuel at radio in Canada and in Australia too. So yeah, I think you just gotta dig in, and you can't give up. You got to keep going. And I think those times end up making you stronger.
No doubt. And that's what I've said here on this show many times. Withstand that and get through the tough times, because good stuff waits on the other side. As you know, the old expression, one door closes. We know how to finish that sentence. Another one opens, no doubt. I noticed you've worked with, and also that project mentioned the EP, Karen Kozowski, if I'm saying that correctly. I know she's done a lot of work with Mickey Guyton, and of course, really cool things out there. That album that Mickey had called Remember Her Name. What's it been like in the relationship to bring Karen on board, and of course that last project, and you guys must have a special bond now to work on these projects?
Yeah, awesome to work with a female producer. I'm all for giving females more of a platform in country music. Obviously it's important to me, but it's awesome to partner with other women that love country music and are doing awesome things. And Karen is just really creative. I think writing a lot of the songs on the first EP, it really pushed me to be honest and to really sing about things that were really important to me, which seems like an obvious thing, but I think the right people pull things out of you. And I think at that stage in my career, Karen was the right person that I needed. Of course, she didn't produce the latest track. That was Gavin, and he, pulled new things out of me too. So it's cool how just like working with different people, I think you continue to grow as an artist, and I'm going to continue to grow. And I can't even imagine, all of the next music that's going to come. I think people that follow you along your career get to really see you grow. It's like you're a child growing up with every project. So I've got that response a lot of just like, wow, it's amazing to watch you, grow into who you are as an artist. And I have to thank, all the people that have helped me and encouraged me just to be me.
Yeah, and there's a good movement right now. You look at, of course, Lainey doing what she's doing right now, and all the big CMA nominations too. And so much, I've asked many people this: is it something in the water that's going on now with Canada? Because it is so many great, Madeleine Merlot and others I could name out there too that are killing it right now for U.S. and bringing their music in to. Of course, Nashville, has its sound. It's got the bro country, some of that traditional country's making a little bit of a comeback. And now to see all these great Canadian acts really come on board and make their mark in the States. What's that been like as far as just the overall, just like it just feels like conglomeration of just putting it all together, and their voices are being heard now in the States, especially around Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it's ultimately like a big goal of a lot of artists in Canada to make it into the US. I think for me, the goal would be, to be a bigger artist in both networks as well. But it's so awesome to see places like the Grand Ole Opry start to feature Canadian artists. I think that's been on my vision board for a really long time, is, to play the Opry. That's every country artist's dream. And it always felt a little bit out of reach because I didn't see a lot of other Canadian acts doing it. There were a few, but now I'm starting to see more and more. So it encourages you. You're like, okay, you're from Canada. This is possible, and it's gonna happen.
It really has. And we're going to come back and talk about a couple songs that really blew up that EP, Where You Come From, here on the Backstage Pass. We'll let you know what two we're going to do, because you never know where I'm going to go on this album. There's just so much good things. Home Team and Church to Pray and a whole bunch of other cool songs in there. Heart Drunk will be one I can let you guys in on. We come back here in a little bit. More with Karli June here. It is the Backstage Pass, a word from our friends at Bangtail Whiskey, and of course out there at Honky Tonk, Texas. Appreciate the support our sponsors give us. More here on the Backstage Pass at hightidecountry.net, and of course powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. More with Karli. Hang tight here. A word from Bangtail Whiskey.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And of course, tomorrow on the show, Rhonda Ray going to join us. We'll put a little rock into the, the country here too as well. And like I said, she's a rocker. She's going to come by, talk about her, like I said, shape as an artist, and of course her music right now. And on Friday, we'll have a couple of shows there to round out the week. Back here with Karli June here on the Backstage Pass. Again, hightidecountry.net and the Sports Guys podcast.com. You guys need to go out and download. I always tell you to download a song because we put the best of the best here on the show. So take my word for it. Feel Like Home, current single with Karli and, of course, Ryan Langdon. Hey, back to that EP. I mentioned their Heart Drunk. I want to really dive into this one because I really enjoyed the lyrics of this one, the writing. I'm sure you did too. Obviously, that's why it's on the EP. This song is another one that is definitely shows that emotional side of things. And really, every great artist has to have a song like this when it comes down to I guess the trials and tribulations of a relationship or going through that. Talk about this one and how this one came to you. I love this song.
Well, thank you. I wrote this song about meeting my now husband. We were just dating at the time, and it gives you all those goosebumpy feelings. And I think from a female country standpoint, I don't hear I hear a lot of like female heartbreak songs, but I don't hear a lot of just love feeling good. And I wanted to put that out into the world, that celebrating love that feels amazing. And you feel a little tipsy.
No doubt. That's why I love it too. That's it. And of course, we mentioned there, Church to Pray. I kind of mentioned that one too. And I was like, man, I just always can relate to that because I'm having that, tough time in our life. We're always going to, go back to where it all began for us, or where we kind of find that we're at peace a little bit and that kind of thing. Talk about Church to Pray, because man, all the lyrics in there are just really authentic. I love it.
Church to Pray is probably my favorite song on the EP, or one of my favorites. They're all special. They're all little babies. But Church to Pray, it's about finding your faith wherever you are. You don't have to be in a church to, connect with God. And that's, what that song came about from the pandemic as well, of not being able to actually go to church. And I think that it's about, making your journey of faith, whatever that is to you.
I love it. It's, again, all these songs are on the EP there from Karli. Also, and we'll get to an audience question. I've got one from David watching over in England too. You can also catch us out there, hightidecountry.net too as well. The list I thought was a very interesting one too, and some very special people helped, I'm sure, write it and put this together. Talk about the list for us and remind the audience of where that came from.
That's never one of my favorites.
I love them all. Tell you,
I love them all.
We're breaking them down.
So the list is about the journey of life. I love songs that are about, life lessons and that inspirational element. And the list is about, you're young, you plan out all the things that you want to happen in life, and you think, by the time I'm 25, I'm going to be married, I'm going to be settled into my career. And then you get to 25 and none of those things happened in the timing that you thought they were going to happen. But you look back at your life and you say, I'm so glad that things worked out the way that they did, because there's other things that I got to experience that I wouldn't have got to if I would have gotten everything that I wanted. So it's about that greater plan in life and just embracing not being where you think that you're supposed to be.
I love how far, we can talk about how far you've rebounded and come so far in your career. And definitely, we always tell people, just because we face some, adversity in life, it's not going to, upend us in any way. We're going to keep moving forward and, don't put things on hold we want to go chase, and enjoy our dreams and chase after them too. You've done several of these different talent competitions. I know one was a Jim Beam talent show that you got to do. And how cool is it to I guess, participate, also get your artistry out there when it comes to these competitions? It seems like you've done a few of these throughout your musical journey, and even today it's helped to put you on the map, getting your face and your artistry in front of other people, right?
Yeah, I think it's about getting your name out there, but for me, it's always been about learning and growing. And from each of those things, you learn something and you get feedback from somebody, and you just got to take it and you got to keep growing from that. And I think that's helped a ton. I did even that when I was young. I did singing competitions. That's kind of how I got into music, got on stages, and it's hard to hear sometimes what you don't want to hear, but that's how you grow. So it's been, yeah, really beneficial.
No doubt too. And like you said, that something we never can teach. I hear it all the time on those singing competitions. There, we can't teach stage presence. The more you get on,
Yes. Yeah.
or you're playing shows, the better stage
Yeah.
presence.
Yeah.
That's always one of those things. And I'm excited for this coming up for The Voice and these other competitions too, because I try to watch as much as I can. People like, you're scouting, you're out there for more. Yeah, we're out there for the next best talent, no doubt. But Reba McEntire coming to The Voice September 25th. This ought to be for a lot of people that just enjoy the reality singing type of shows there. I'm going to go across the pond, England. I know David tunes in all the time over there in Cumbria. Talk to him. He says, Carly, love the, or say, hi, Brandon. Hi, Carly. Watching from Cumbria in England. Do you play any instruments? And which songs do you enjoy singing the most? Okay, I like that.
Yes, I'm classically trained in piano, and I taught myself guitar when I think I was 12. I just looked at chord charts and kind of figured it out. So I play piano and guitar. And what songs do I enjoy singing the most? Well, of course, my new single, Feel Like Home.
Well, that's a great song too, David. If you hadn't heard that one, go make sure you tell people about that and get those streams up in the area of England over there too at the same time. I love this. I was talking about that. Reba kind of coming on there. Just it seems like in this comeback with Jody Messina and all these great. We mentioned the Canadian artists too. What's it been like for you to see kind of that? And I'm putting you right in that category because I really feel like you're going to play the Opry one day. But this whole movement now, the last 3-4 years, Lainey, Carly Pierce, McBride, Ashley McBride. Lindsay L. This female movement in country. I think it's one of the best things we've seen probably in the last 10, 15 years. What's it been like for you to kind of watch these ladies, and even the 90s greats, some of them make a comeback like Jody Messina and kind of be the face of country? Does that kind of motivate you to want to just keep working at your craft to get better?
Absolutely. I love seeing these females just crush it out there and just being given the platform that they deserve. It's inspirational for sure. Like for a long time it felt, and it still is really hard to be a female in the industry. It's, you look at how much radio males get, how much radio time, and can be discouraging. So when you see a female winning, you're like, yes, it is possible. So they're setting the stage for the next of us that are rising up. These are the women that we're looking up to, and so we're grateful for them to really pave the way for us.
All right, I want to know what makes Carly tick when it comes to songwriting, because I love that you can kind of feel when you get a good song put out there. Some people say it's almost like therapy, putting your words, expressing it on paper. What is it that you enjoy most about the process of songwriting?
I think it's so exciting when you go into a write and a new song is going to come out today, and it could be the song that changes your life. I think that's really cool. Some days I would say I kind of have two different approaches to writing my songs. I would say I have a really fun element, and I want my live show to be really, really fun. I want people to come and have a blast and forget about their problems. But I also want to leave them feeling inspired. And so I love those life lesson songs. And so I think that mesh of those two things together, some days I just have to figure out which of these do I kind of feel today. But I would say those two things are pretty exclusively Karli June. And so it's exciting just to get to bring out all of those feelings.
All right, I'm going to go back a little bit on this one, too, because I believe this was January 2020, so right there pre-pandemic. And we may have done a show on this because I've probably slept since then, too. But at the same time, I remember the song Say Too Much. And I want to go back because I love this one, too. And sometimes I'll bring up a little bit of the stuff that's been out there now for about 3 years. How did this one originate? Give us a little backstory on that particular single.
So that's the only song I've ever released that I did not write. And it was actually originally supposed to be a pop song, and it got pitched to us. It was written by one of the members of All American Rejects, which I was kind of intrigued by that. I think originally I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so, yeah, we turned it into a pop song, and it's just fun. It's really sing along, those O's, and it's a dancey country song about just wearing your heart on your sleeve. And that is me. I would say I'm someone who really wears my heart on my sleeve, and, sometimes just blurt out how I'm feeling. And so I connected with the song right away, and it was really cool to take the song on a journey from being a pop song to a country song.
Well, I love it. Like I said, anything she touches, it's just great music, and it comes to life in the studio, no doubt about it, with the great producers out there too. And love this one, Feel Like Home, which is the latest single from Karli June. We'll take our final time out. We got a little bit of different feel for rapid fire today too, because we're Kirsty now trying to change up a lot of these questions out there, but to have fun with it at the same time and enjoy it, we'll do that in the rapid fire segment and ask Karli what's next, building off the momentum of this single and what's left as we're closing out 2023. Again, we're presented by Bangtail Whiskey and our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas. Quick time out here. More with Karli June. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, staying busy, already booking stuff into Halloween. It's crazy how these shows fly here, Monday through Friday with the shows in Halloween. I guess that's a good problem to have, right? When you have a chance to book the best talent out there too. And it's like, I feel like I'm at a carnival sometimes, Karli, where it's like I got to buy, people are just like buying tickets to the rides, and I'm like the featured ride, and they're wanting to get on the show. There's just never enough of me to go around.
Yeah.
So it's staying busy too as well. And it's people like Karli June who make this show that much better. Hey, back to the EP, where you come from. There's one I wanted to ask you about, Big for a Small Town. And this is another one that I really enjoyed listening to off that EP. What's the backstory of that one?
Well, I grew up in a small town in Canada, and I learned from a pretty young age how amazing that is to grow up in a small town, and how every event that you have in a small town ends up being this huge thing. So that's the premise, is that we might be small, but we go big. And it's a celebration. It's a celebration of life in this small town. And it's kind of become an anthem. And that song actually on TikTok started reaching the Canadian hockey industry across the country, and a team way out west in Canada contacted me, and they said, we've actually made your song our skate out song for our hockey team, junior B hockey. And so I flew out, and they actually had me come play at the game, and it was so fun. It was so cool just to see that. I'm all about the small town sports. I think it's such a special thing in the US and in Canada.
Now, did you score any goals? I had to ask about that.
Well, they did not put me on the ice.
Okay. I was just curious if they put you on the ice, because I can't skate worth a what. So I'd have to say that put me on skates. Even the athlete that I am, more of my sport was football and / baseball. But and I love hockey, love watching it, but I never could play it. So it comes down to leave that to the professionals on skates out there. All right, time to have a little fun. I love this. Rapid fire too. I think you mentioned to me last time you were a hockey fan, no doubt. So who is the team that you're watching on television with the husband in the household? The flags go up, the banners, the koozies, the canisters, whatever it is. What team is the hockey team in your household?
Well, there's a battle. There's a battle in our house. My husband is an Ottawa Senators fan, and I am a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and those two teams hate each other. So it's kind of fun. We have fun.
All right, that's good. You have fun too. So I guess there's Leafs on one side, all the apparel is kind of over here, and the Senators is over
Yeah.
here, so kind of split split down the middle.
We'll
I
see.
love that.
We're still talking after the games.
It's always good to have someone to, like, in my household. I love the Cardinals in football. My wife's a Cowboy fan. My team's not very good this year. Of course, only one game played. The Cowboys dominate the other night, so I had to talk to her about the Dallas Cowboys winning 40-0 over the New York Giants the other night for football. But at least I have my best friend to talk football with here in the household, no doubt. And it's always fun to see any Texas team do well down here too. All right, last let's say date night out. Where'd you guys go? What kind of food? What craving are you getting into right now?
Well, we went out actually to celebrate my new single. And so we went to a nice Italian restaurant. It was really good. Where we live in Canada, there's a lot of really good restaurants here in Hamilton. And so we can just walk to all of them. So my favorite dates, honestly, are coffee dates. I love just Saturday morning going and walking and getting a coffee, maybe go to the farmer's market. That to me is my favorite.
Simplicity is the key, and like I said, no doubt, just to not overdo it, just enjoy it out there. And I'm with you on that. Sometimes the coffee and the walking out there or the farmer's market are just great places to end up to, and you don't spend an arm and a leg to go where you. Sometimes I tell the wife that too as well. All right, what's next? Tell me about this. Obviously building off the momentum of the single, as much as you can tell us here. I don't want to, like I said, get you in trouble with the camp and say, jump the gun. But you guys have to be building toward something next, whether it's more singles, EP, things like that. Tell us what's left of 23 and going into 24, some of the goals.
Yeah, well, I'm working on a new EP, so we're heavy into the writing for that right now. So that is coming down the line. That's a big thing that we're working on. This week I have the Country Music Awards in Canada, so I'm playing multiple shows as part of that. I'm kicking it off I got asked to do the kickoff party, so that's really, really fun for me to get to start the party here in Canada. I'm going on a radio tour. I am opening for Gord Bamford in October, amazing Canadian artist, just a legend really in Canada. So it's going to be a crazy rest of the year. I'm just trying to get my sleep now because I feel like it's just going to be nuts.
Well, connecting with that, and I've seen it too, the ever-growing fan base out there too. Love it with the music too at the same time, and just I love how you reflect your background and of course your life and the different things that's out there, and your music's so inspirational. I love it to like I said, to a T out there too. Just everything you're about as an artist displays that in your music too. All right, let's have a little fun with this one. Let's say you won the lottery tomorrow, one of the Canadian lotteries. What's the first thing you do with the, I guess, first installment?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I would convince my husband that it's time for us to get a dog.
Okay, well, there you go.
It's hard. Dogs are expensive, so
they are.
We haven't been able to get a dog, so I feel like I would love to get a dog. And in our house, I would put in one of those coffee makers that are built into the wall.
Really? I've not seen that.
I've always dreamed of that, where it's like almost like an espresso machine that's built into your wall, and you just wake up in the morning and you just press the button and then beautiful espresso comes out. Oh, they have them in those beautiful mansions. I would totally put that in. Of course, I would take my family on a nice trip and donate some money to charity and all of that too. But
I love that too. So you're like me. You're going to get up every morning. I've got to have that first cup of coffee wherever I'm at or whatever I'm doing before I start my day. And trust me, goes a long way too. So yeah, remind me. And I got 2 dogs. If I get rid of them, I just send them up your way in kennels. If you want, just a couple dogs. There's no charge. Just they're tearing up my backyard. One's a retriever. No, I'm just kidding. My wife loves that. She being a dog parent, kid loves the dogs here too. But I tell you this: after these 2, I am because the vet bills add up on it. They do.
Wow.
And the last one I had was it was a few $100, and I'm still recovering. We all say from those, and that's of course, like you said, dog mom, dog dad.
Yeah,
you love them; they're companions, but at the same time, just like kids, they're expensive.
And I think for me, it's the time. It's like I'm out on the road and I'm gone, and it's just a little bit tricky. We'd always be getting someone to watch it. So
I love it. No, it's that's the beauty of it too. You either take care of them or you let somebody else take care of them and I'll sit.
Exactly.
Do you remember the first song you ever sang live on stage?
Yeah, I do, but no one else knows the song. It was a Christmas song, and it was from a church musical. They used to like write these musicals that were for churches, and it was about an orphan at Christmas time. And it was, ironically, the song was called "I Have a Dream," and I just look back at that. I didn't even realize at that time that I wanted to be a singer. I just like to sing, but I just think it's cool that the first song I ever sang was called "I Have a Dream."
I love that, and you actually segued really well into my next question. And the last one we'll do here and finish up. Any plans to do any kind of Christmas music at a later date? Because I think your voice would be just perfect on a lot of the classics and maybe some of your own.
Yes, I would love to do a Christmas album. I would love to do an Easter album. I love Carrie Underwood is a huge inspiration to me, and I love like what she's done with her Christmas music and the My Savior album. So I could even see doing a Christian album down the road.
I would love to hear that, no doubt. And speaking of Carrie Underwood banging drums on like the football thing the other night, I was like, well, she's a badass. She's like showing a different side.
She is. She's the best.
We've never seen that before on the drums. We've always seen her with the mic in her hand and doing her thing on the stage and blowing it up. And on the instrumentation side, I was like, man, she is Underwood's a badass. Well, I tell you what, Karli June, I should say, is a badass too as well. And I love her music so much. This is awesome out there. Feel Like Home is the current single out there with Ryan Langdon, a fantastic single out there too. And definitely you guys are going to be hearing. Visit KarliJune.com for more information out there too. At the same time, for more tour dates. Hey, best of luck with everything on the Canadian country music side. It's going to be a blast of a week, and I appreciate you always making time for us here on the show and dropping us a little bit of a vine to say, hey, you know what? Here's what I got going on, and we love your brand, we love your music, and continued success going forward.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always so much fun.
Well, we love having you, no doubt about it, too. And it's those great singles that keep pumping them out. And I can't wait for the Easter album, the Christmas album, the Christian music to come out. She'll be back here on the show. Of course, 2023, 2024. The one, the only Karli June here on the Backstage Pass. Again, thanks to our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas Bangtail Whiskey. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to turn it up a notch. A little rocker. Rhonda Ray coming here on the show. We don't do a lot of the rockers, but you know what? I pay respects and appreciation to all the genres of music out there too as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow here on the Backstage Pass presented by Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. If you ever miss a show, hightidecountry.net, and they all stay up on YouTube and the socials out there and at the sportsguyspodcast.com. We'll see you soon.